Councilwoman Edwards.
Present.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
Present.
Councilwoman Frisbee.
Present.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Presente.
Councilman Harrison is excused from this meeting. He did call ahead. Vice President Williams.
Present y presente.
And Council President Figueroa Kettenberg.
Present.
Myself, Brandon Garcia, Municipal Clerk, present. Mr. Edward Kaloji, Legislative Counsel. Thank you. And Mr. West Bridges. Thank you. And Madam President, if you like at this time, I'll read the invocation. Almighty God, who holds the fate of man and nation, we most humbly beseech thee to bless this our city, these deliberations, and these thy servants, that they may act with wisdom and understanding for the good of our community and thy greater glory. Amen.
Amen.
And Madam President, at this time, I believe it's your wish you'd like to see if prior to presentation, we have some volunteers for some boards and commissions that are present.
That is correct.
If you are present for volunteers for boards and commissions, I believe I have I'll just go ahead and start. I have, and let me know if you're here, Mr. Douglas Hughes. Thank you. Ms. Louise McCants. Thank you. Dr. Tara Butler. Thank you. And Ms. Veronica Davis. Ms. Davis? Okay, understood. And Madam President, then I suppose we can start with any individual you or the council wish.
Yes, Mr. Garcia, if any of those individuals that you just acknowledge that they would like to come and just say, introduce themselves and a quick hello about being part of those committees, that would be great. Very quick.
In the interest of moving things ahead, thank you very much, Mr. Hughes. Took the words right out of my mouth.
Good evening, Council. It's my pleasure to join this board. After serving 47 years in government, 38 years here with the city of Trenton, I think I have a little handle on being a senior now. I had to kind of pinch myself and say, oh, that's right, I am. I'll be 72 years of age in 2 weeks. So I think that qualifies. But it's my pleasure to be part of this board and voice some of the concerns within my neighborhood and throughout the city of Trenton, representing the seniors. That's basically all I have to say. Thank you.
Are there any other volunteers that wish to come forward and address council?
Good evening to the esteemed members of City Council, Council President, Council Vice President. My name is Dr. Tara Butler, and when I'm not wearing my Smith Family Foundation hat, I serve as the Executive Director of Von Zella's Crown. I have over 15 years in dealing with the seniors, and I'm passionate. I'm not a senior, but I love my seniors. I feel that I will be a great addition to this board. I bring a lot of experience with geriatric management, intergenerational and multi-generational programming, dealing with grand families, and I also hold a plethora of certifications. I have a master's in criminal justice pre-law, business administration, and also certificates from Rutgers dealing with the seniors. So I think you want me on this board, and I bring my time, my treasures, and my talents. Thank you for letting me come before the council. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your commitment. Ma'am?
Good evening. Thank you, wonderful council, for allowing me to have these words and be a part of this board. My name is Louise McCants. I am the CEO of the Capital Area YMCA. I come with a heart to serve. I'm that little girl that lived with her grandma who couldn't read. She only had a 3rd grade education. And so I would then volunteer to read for our elders at the church because I understood that they needed an advocate. I'm that little girl that grew up on the block or Mr. Mallory and all the old names that would count on us young people to be the voice, to be the legs. And so my serving as the Capital Area City YMCA, where we serve many seniors, they're our fastest growing populations. I'm here to be of service, to make sure their voices are being heard and their needs are being met. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for your position and your commitment. And thank you, Councilwoman Feliciano, for putting this together, for making sure that our seniors' voices are heard moving forward in the city, so that we can implement change and effectuate it as well. So thank you again, Councilwoman Feliciano, and thank you all for all of your undying commitments. Mr. Garcia, we can proceed.
Certainly, Madam President, if there are no other individuals who would like to address council at this time, then we can move on to presentations. So I'll give a last call for that purpose.
Yes, so at this time, I would like the presentation from NJOHSP to present on online extremism. There's 10 minutes for the presentation. Thank you so much for being here.
Good evening, everyone. Before we begin the presentation, just wanted to bring up Director Tom Bell for the New Jersey Office of Homeless People. I'm going to stand to the side, so can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
First of all, thank you for having us.
Sir, just so you know, we do have this accessible online, and if you are not at the microphone, none of what you say will register.
I don't want to turn my back to everybody. Good evening again. Thank you for having us. I'd like to introduce myself and then introduce and thank our team that's here with us today. My name's Tom Houck. I'm the newly appointed Director for New Jersey Office of Homeland Security and Preparedness. Prior to coming to this position, I've been with the same office for about 3.5 years as the Director of Intelligence and Operations Division. And prior to that, I spent 23 years here in New Jersey with the FBI before retiring. Some of our team here tonight, Izzy Chowdhury is he leads our partner engagement unit. You'll see him out and about all over the state. Also with us is Shannon Torres. She is a new bureau chief with our office. She oversees our partner engagement, our coordination with our county threat coordinators, and also our threat intake and management. So all the threat reporting and suspicious activity reporting, that's under Shannon's purview. What we're here to do tonight is to talk about nihilistic violent extremists. And I'm not going to steal John Edwards' thunder. He's an intel analyst who will be presenting today. But this is a really important topic. These are groups who their goal in life is to tear down society. And unfortunately, one of their biggest ways of doing that is to take advantage of, to leverage and exploit our youth. And this is no stranger to New Jersey. They push these kids to harm themselves, harm others, kill themselves. And we've had numerous recent cases here in New Jersey of teens committing suicide because of these nihilistic groups. So John is going to present tonight. One thing I'll say in closing is this year we're really trying to take this message directly to the youth. We're teaching parents, we're teaching folks like yourself, we're teaching teachers and coaches so they can recognize when this element is present. But we feel it's very important to get to our youth for two reasons. They're closer to the problem. They're going to, number one, the more they know about this, the better they can protect themselves from becoming victims. And they're also closer to their peers. So they're going to see before we will, and they'll see those indicators that maybe one of their friends is been targeted and is being taken advantage of by these groups. So again, thank you for having us tonight, and I'm going to turn it over to intelligence analyst John Edwards. Thank you, John.
Good evening, councilmen, or council people. I'm going to be speaking today about nihilistic violent extremist as our, sorry. Yeah, it's not working. If you wouldn't mind, you could just, I could just have you advance the slide if you're okay with it. Okay, perfect. You can change the slide. So again, good evening, council. I'm going to be talking today about nihilistic violent extremists. Nihilism is described essentially as a philosophical belief that life has no real inherent meaning, value, or purpose. So extremists look to leverage that belief to promote the kind of tear down of society and the destruction of basically common morals and values. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. So the belief in among mainstream extremists of tearing down society is not new. It's something referred to as accelerationism. So a lot of mainstream extremists have used this in the past, but the difference is that for mainstream extremists, when they are looking to tear down society, they're looking to do so to rebuild society in their own image. So for instance, white supremacist extremists, they are looking to collapse, the US government and society at large, so that their hope is that they could then reconstruct essentially like an all-white society that they control. They believe they can take control of the chaos and harness it for their ability. Nihilistic violent extremists operate a little differently, where there is no second step. Their goal is simply to destroy and break down societal walls for the purpose of destruction in and of itself. So they don't really have any further step two, which makes them dangerous because their motivations are a little more difficult to detect in that sense. There's a lot of different extremist ideologies that wind up making up nihilistic violent extremism. We see mixes of white supremacist ideology, neo-Nazi ideology, accelerationist, satanic rituals, and occultist beliefs will all sort of be rolled into nihilistic violent extremism. It's not necessarily one belief or the other. There's a lot of crossover between these beliefs, but the underlying thread that joins all of these beliefs is that, again, a belief that life has no meaning, has no purpose, and has no real value. This does seem like a new belief system. It's really coming to the forefront within the past couple of years. It's really made a splash in the media very recently, but its ties go back to the 1960s, late 1960s, early 1970s, with this group, Order of Nine Angles, out of the UK. They rolled in, like I said before, white supremacist and neo-Nazi beliefs with Satanist and occultist beliefs. And they did so for the purpose of encouraging violence, terrorism, and unfortunately sexual abuse against children. These beliefs have still carried over today. This group has had varying degrees of popularity over the years. It kind of some resurgence in the 90s, and then again, more recently with subgroups that have built off of it. Their sort of aesthetics that you see here, this sort of black background with white text, has been co-opted today by other groups and used to sort of link back to the past. The more popular group today is known as 764. It's not really a group, it's like an online network of a lot of subgroups. They are built off of another group called Cult, spelled CVLT. Cult was started in 2019, 2020, kind of around the beginning of the pandemic in the UK by an individual. Its popularity spawned the 764 network, also known as the COM. These groups largely operate in the same way. The difference between them and Order of Nine Angles, that initial group, is that these groups wind up being very online, which has helped rapidly spread their popularity kind of globally at this point. But again, they kind of operate the same way as before. These groups, I would say, more predominantly focus on targeting juveniles for exploitation, either sexually or promoting videos where they encourage juveniles to harm themselves, either cut themselves or commit harm against themselves on video, so they can spread those videos amongst the network. Again, because it's a very online ideology, it winds up being a little more difficult to stop. Most of these, what we've seen is that they operate on online networks like Discord and Telegram, which offer encrypted chat services so that perpetrators can kind of coordinate subversively a little bit without detection by law enforcement, and Roblox, which is an online gaming platform popularized by juveniles. I'm sure anyone with family members here and children might know members of their family who use this. So for these perpetrators, this presents a very target-rich environment, unfortunately. The 764 network was actually created by this gentleman here, Bradley Cadenhead. He's out of Texas. 764 appears to have no other significance than it's the first 3 digits of his zip code, which generally these have more meaning, but that looks to be the only reason. But of note, he was immersed in online violence and videos of violence and gore as early as age 10. He's believed to have started this movement when he was about 15 years old. So a lot of times extremist groups, perpetrators and organizers are older, but again, teenagers these days online are sort of getting a little more involved than they used to be. He is currently serving an 80-year sentence for possession of child pornography, but he is still very revered among the movement. In New Jersey, we've seen increasing reports over the past couple of years. The problem, I would say, is this: we're not sure what is an increasing amount of activity versus increasing number of reports as people become more aware of this activity. So while we're seeing increasing reports, there is a chance that this activity was happening previously of these reports without anyone's real knowledge of it. There's two main cases out of New Jersey in the past couple of years. In January of 2025, Colin Walker of Bridgeton down in Cumberland County was arrested. He was a member of the cult group online. He was acting as an administrator and was actually running their servers that were being used to coordinate activity for these perpetrators. And while I said we see a lot of white supremacist activity on this, it's not necessarily bound to that. So this is Marek Cherokwy of Egg Harbor, or Cherkawi, I'm sorry. He was an administrator for the 764 network and was helping organize for them to promote terrorism, violence, and sexual abuse of children. But when he was arrested, it was found that he had actually planned to travel overseas to join ISIS, receive training, and then travel back to the US to commit an attack. So there's no one ideology that's sort of excluded from this sort of overarching ideological belief system. Predominantly, like I said, we see most of their activity on social media websites, online chat websites, and gaming platforms. Discord and Telegram and Roblox seem to be the most popular. These are the sorts of things that we wind up seeing. Again, images that have a black background and a lot of white text imagery are kind of a hallmark of this movement. And images of graphic violence, sexual abuse, animal torture, set in like a more contemporary meme-like format are also things that they use to kind of spread their message around. They also happen to use coded hashtags and coded language to avoid detection by authorities. So for instance, instead of asking for child pornography, they will ask for things like cheese pizza because the first two letters match up with the first two letters of that. That helps them bypass online content moderations that would automatically flag that language. In addition to this sort of activity, some of these smaller subgroups will participate in hoax threats or sell hoax threats as a service. So they will commit swatting attacks or hoax threats against hospitals, schools, other government agencies, or sometimes private residents of people they're looking specifically to target. Last August, there was a series of hoax threats against universities across the nation. Most notably, there was one over in Villanova. While the police were searching for the alleged perpetrator, an online researcher actually found the hoax threat in a Discord channel and found that they were offering swatting as a service and making threats against other universities. At that point, authorities were able to determine that the threat at that point was a hoax. But they will sell these services very inexpensively, often on the dark web. But if a child or juvenile doesn't want to school that day, they can reach out to these services and sometimes for as little as $20, have somebody phone in either a swatting threat or a bomb threat against their school. So primary tactics of these individuals largely focuses on online grooming and recruitment. They often use pseudonyms or fake identities while conducting this activity. Psychological manipulation. Oftentimes, juveniles who have trouble fitting in or loners, I guess in a sense, will wind up becoming primary targets for these individuals. Sextortion and coercion. How they keep these scams kind of going is that they will have children record either sexualized videos of themselves or videos of them conducting self-harm, and then they'll threaten to blackmail them if they don't continue producing these sorts of videos. They'll threaten to go to friends and family and mail these videos publicly, forcing these children to kind of continue on with this behavior. Again, with blackmail and escalation, sometimes it escalates to real-world harm with encouraging actual physical abuse, or sometimes trying to encourage these children to commit suicide or kill other people on their behalf. Ideological goals are varied, but again, that underlying belief that, again, their life has no purpose or meaning is really what's motivating them to do this. Some indicators and signs people can look out for, behavior changes. These are a little difficult because teenagers oftentimes will exhibit these. So any one of these isn't necessarily an indicator in of itself, but when taken as a whole, they wind up becoming more problematic. So changes of behavior and appearance, so becoming more withdrawn or, cutting their hair off or changing their clothes drastically could be an indicator. Self-harm is a big one, eating disorders or finding cut lines on their arms or limbs. Writing in blood, I would say, is probably a pretty good one, but fortunately, one of the bigger ones here, and this may be a little more difficult, receiving anonymous gifts. So sometimes when perpetrators are trying to get juveniles to commit these acts, either self-harm or sexual abuse, they don't have necessarily the tools themselves to commit it. So they will get the children's address and actually mail anonymous packages that either contain, sexual devices or knives or razor blades so that the children can then harm themselves. So monitoring what your kids are receiving through the mail is going to be very important. And again, swatting and doxing, this is something they will do to keep children in line, that if a kid decides to not go along with that anymore and they know what their address is, they'll start having swatting and sending the police to their house claiming that there is some sort of violence going on at the house.
CP, that has been 10 minutes. It's up to you. I'll leave it to you for permission to continue.
Just a couple.
Okay.
Should just be a few more minutes. All right, so just some safety guidelines. Again, monitoring children's online activity. I know this is difficult with the advent of smartphones, but trying to do the best you can and trying to, without necessarily invading their privacy too much, but trying to keep an eye on what they are doing. But in that same breath, for parents, it is important to be aware of what they are posting online involving content involving their children. If you have wide open public social media and you're posting pictures of your children, that could make them a target. Searching regularly, you can actually search your children's information online and see if it pops up on any websites. If it does, that is something that can be a concern. And just making sure that your accounts are secure so they can't be hacked by individuals looking to do harm. Law enforcement is doing its best, but it is difficult. Again, a lot of this activity takes place online. A lot of that activity is anonymous or encrypted. So law enforcement is trying to do the best they can, but there are some limits to what they can do without parents' help. This is some information if people want to take pictures of this, of what resources that they can reach out to. We also have some resources we can hand out. We have a stack in the back that we can distribute to the public if they would like further information. Additionally, I will be here, so if anyone has any questions after this presentation, I will be happy to answer any other questions. I think that's all I have. So if anyone has any other further questions.
Thank you so much. I'm actually pleased, like my council colleagues were taking pictures and they were nodding their heads and they were very, very interested. Thank you so much, Council Vice President Williams, for bringing this forward. And I want to open this up to my colleagues. If you guys have any questions at this time, please.
CP.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yeah, I just have a quick question. I know you said that you wanted to target the youth. How are you engaging the youth or reaching them?
We have teams in our office that actually reach out to schools and work with local police departments for juveniles that like they are on a pathway to harm. So it's our STAT team. We work very closely with those individuals, with those teams to sort of help provide information and guidance.
Okay, because I know we have 2 educators here, so I'm thinking how, who would we actually contact? Is it the ones that's listed on this sheet?
We can actually talk after the meeting. We can get you all that information
Okay.
that you need to follow up with.
I think it'd be great for us to bring to the high school or to our schools.
Councilman, I can answer that
Yes.
question. So actually, we're in conversation with the superintendent of Trenton School
Oh, great. Okay.
to push and roll this whole program out. That including training the children as well.
Well, then I'll stay out of it. Thank you.
Any other, Councilwoman Frisbee?
So thank you, Council President. So thank you for this presentation. This was really insightful, a little bit shocking
Of course.
as well, but very enlightening. So I want to thank you for that, but also I have 3 questions. 1, where can we get these materials? That's the first one. do you come out and do demos if we at a demonstration, if we have other groups? So I have a West Ward community conversation meeting once a month. Would love to have you come out and present this to the community members there. We also stream it, so it reaches beyond those that are in the room. And then my final question is, how can we best help to assist with keeping our children safe? You gave a lot of tools. You gave a lot of information. I took a couple of pictures of, as you saw. But what if we left here and said if no one else could do any one thing, this would be the thing that you would have us to do? What would that be? One or two? I would ask.
I would say for the first question, a lot of our materials are available on our website, njohsp.gov. A lot of what we write is written for the public. We actually just released our annual threat assessment that speaks about this. One of the handouts we have is actually taken directly from the annual threat assessment that has that information. We also have some resources, like I said, we're handing out. But again, our website does have a lot of resources and information. As for coming out to the meetings, we have been doing these talks all over the place, and I think would be happy to come out and do talks for this group. I don't think that would be a problem at all. And as for tips, like I said, the resources provide a lot that you can do to monitor your children and keep them aware. And that's, I would say, probably the best thing you do. Keeping a close eye on what children are doing online is the best way. And if you have any concerns at all, reaching out to either our office or your local police department. Local departments are becoming more aware of what's going on with this, so their connection with us is a lot stronger in this sense. So if you reach out to them with questions, they will very likely reach out to us. So if there are any concerns at all, reach out to the police department or us. We'll happily help with anything.
Thank you. And if you would, whatever material you have that you were going to leave in the back, if you would leave some here at the front,
Absolutely.
and including your contact information, I'd love to reach out
course.
to you. Thank
Absolutely.
you so much.
Oh, and
Thank
we
you,
are
Madam
going to send an
President.
electronic copy.
I didn't hear you.
We are going to send an electronic copy.
Awesome.
So,
Thank you.
yep, no problem.
Thank you, Madam President.
You're welcome.
Council,
Council Vice President.
Thank you, ma'am.
Williams.
I just want to say thank you so much to both of you, Izzy, John, also Shannon, Director Hauk, for being here tonight. I know when I first saw the presentation, which is even more extensive than this, that you gave at a local community meeting, I was blown away, having a teenager myself, and like to think I'm sophisticated enough to keep up, but this is beyond. And like you said in that presentation, this hits every demographic in America. Mm-hmm. And so thank you for bringing this to us tonight. I know you're passionate about it, and I'm really happy that you'll be able to be part of Trenton and really getting the word out here to keep all of us and our kids safe. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank you so
again for
much.
presenting to us. It was very good information. We appreciate it. Mr. Garcia, we could proceed.
Certainly, Madam President. Madam President, this time I believe, and I'll check with Interim Director Harris, I believe there's a walk-on resolution at this time to be presented. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And while we're waiting on an individual to come up, I will just introduce that resolution briefly. Is resolution affirming the City of Trenton's commitment made in Resolution 24-495 to provide funding for improvements to the building and grounds at the Trenton City Museum, known as Ellerslie Mansion.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Garcia. As I
And
understand.
that will be resolution number 26-69, I believe.
Yes, as I understand, this resolution, as well as 26063 and 26064, is pending further clarification for us. We'll give that a few minutes. Mr. Garcia, Mayor Gutierrez is coming to present this clarification for us.
Yes, the mayor will be presenting this particular resolution of support.
Good evening, Mayor. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, Madam President and members of council. The city of Trenton currently holds more than 30 properties in its municipal inventory. At least 16 are historic assets, structures that define our community and cultural legacy. That is not a small responsibility. From City Hall to the Trent House, from Ellerslie Museum to Eagle Tavern and the industrial anchor that is Roebling Wire Works, we're entrusted with these assets that span the centuries. Managing historic properties is ongoing. Funding for necessary capital improvements is limited. For example, while the city committed $2 million toward the restoration of the Carver Center, the full plan requires approximately $8 million. The rehabilitation of the Reading Senior Center experienced setbacks in prior years, and we have since dedicated $1.3 million with the county's help to move that work forward. With so many historic properties and significant needs at each, we must remain flexible and ensure essential costs are met responsibly and strategically. Tonight's action reflects that responsibility. NJEDA awarded the city a $7 million economic corridor grant for renovations at Eagle Tavern and Roebling Wire Works. The award requires completion of both projects. There is no mechanisms to complete one without the other, and both projects exceed that grant amount. If we fail to close the funding gap, we would be returning $7 million to the state of New Jersey. That would jeopardize these sites and damage our credibility for future NJEDA funding, and we're not willing to let that happen. Although we secured $3.5 million per project, the first Eagle Tavern bid came at $9.1 million. We rejected it and rebid. The lowest of 3 new bids was $5.8 million. Working with the Mercer County Improvement Authority, construction costs were negotiated down to $5.3 million, and the city and the county each committed an additional $750,000 alongside the NJEDA funding. I want to thank the county executive for stepping forward to help us ensure that this historic rehabilitation project moves forward. Even after these efforts, we experienced a hard ARP deadline of September 30th. To protect the $7 million award and meet that deadline, we required temporary flexibility and sequencing our historic investments. Let me be clear about Ellerslie. This was not a decision to disregard our city museum. Yesterday, we met directly with museum leadership. I believe they're in the room, and I want to thank them for their patience and understanding. We toured the galleries, the storage areas, and saw firsthand the work necessary to preserve more than 6,000 pieces in their collection. Tonight, we are submitting a walk-on resolution reaffirming our commitment to Ellerslie long-term preservation. And what is underway at Ellerslie, the preservation plan will be completed August 17th. A $75,000 Mercer County facilities grant will fund exterior repairs. A $500,000 BPU grant application has been submitted for HVAC and roofing. We have requested expedited HVAC recommendations. Quotes are in hand for roof and exterior wood repairs. First floor refinishing is moving forward, and the Museum Society continues to have technological upgrades. So we are not delaying Ellerslie. We are ensuring that the preservation plan guides the most responsible use of that funds, including moving forward with the HVAC replacement. Tonight's vote ensures we do not lose the $7 million from the EDA grant. We meet federal ARP deadlines. We preserve our credibility for future capital funding, and all 3 historic rehabilitation efforts move forward. This administration is actively managing improvements across Battle Monument, Douglas House, Passage Theater, Roebling Wireworks, Eagle Tavern, Ellerslie, and Trent House. That is stewardship, and stewardship sometimes requires difficult but responsible decisions under deadline pressures, always with long-term preservation in mind. And for those reasons, I respectfully ask for your support tonight on the two resolutions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. So I'm going to open up any questions from my council colleagues. I just want to make it clear, the understanding is we are short of grant funding to move forward with these projects. And if we don't move forward with these projects and get this, I guess, 1.1 million or 1.1 million, we would lose the $7 million that we were getting in grant money to help fund Roebling Wireworks and the Eagle Tavern. So we have now pulled funds from Ellers Isle in order to move these other projects forward with a promise to repay Ellers Isle for their repairs.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's correct.
Any of my council colleagues have any questions?
Council President, I just have one question. I was a little
Council Vice President
unclear.
Williams.
Thank you. So without this arrangement that has been made, and it's good to see, what was the deadline to make sure that this funding was secured by?
This week.
This week, okay.
So if we did not come up with the total preservation plan for Eagle Tavern and for Roebling Wireworks, we would lose the $7 million grant.
Okay, and is an expectation of when that work may begin?
Imminently, we're prepared to move with both projects. Both the county, MCIA is in charge of Eagle Tavern, and we are in charge of Roebling Wireworks. And I believe the entire cost of the Roebling Wireworks exceeds $7 million, and that's essentially phase one of Roebling Wireworks restoration, which will be the roof, the windows, and the framing, which are long overdue and will help stabilize that building. Ultimately, we want to put an HVAC system in there, more bathrooms, an industrial kitchen to make it a true civic center for the city of Trenton.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council President.
Councilwoman Frisbee.
Thank you, Council President. So thank you, Mayor, for the presentation. And I understand time constraints. I want to, before I go further, say thank you to our county exec, who I believe, don't know if he's still here or not yet, there. County Exec Dan Benson for stepping in and making sure that we don't lose this funding. It would have been disastrous on our part to have lost this funding. So I understand that completely. I'm looking forward to the money going back into Ellerslie Mansion when that does come back around. And you just actually answered the question because I did want to know about the upgrades as far as with the HVAC system, even the bathrooms downstairs. No, there's a lot, but making sure that we preserve the integrity of the building itself, but just making sure that we can accommodate even those who are disabled, whether it's with this the elevators, to making sure all of that is working operable, so but working properly. So I really don't have any other questions on that other than I do. I'm looking forward to this, and I am looking forward to having the Roebling building, Roebling Wireworks done, and the tavern. It's been a long time coming, and they are some of our beautiful historic landmarks, and I'm glad that it is happening on our watch.
Well, thank you very much. And I think Gene and Debbie are here, back here, and they are tough. I lost an eardrum with a conversation with Gene, but rightfully so. I mean, Ellerslie is a beautiful asset. They host art openings, art contests, classes, and we do have a commitment, and we want to assure them and the world that we are committed to preserving Ellerslie Mansion and making sure that their art collection is preserved.
Thank you, Mayor.
Council President.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
Thank you. So thank you, Mayor, for the presentation tonight. I guess the question I have is when Ellerslie found out that the money was going to be shifted, how did they find out?
They were informed by our recreation director, Paul Harrison, a conversation with them.
Okay, so they were notified before anything was
Yes.
sent out, the docket was sent out, or they
Yeah,
looked
and
at
I-
the docket and saw it?
And I apologize for the timing, but we just found out all along, MCIA was renegotiating the construction costs for Eagle Tavern. And that only recently fell into place. And then once the price tag, we had to figure out how we go from 3.5 million to 5.3 million. And so there were delays in finding that out and finding a solution. In the meantime, we were looking to where we could shift funds, and that seemed to be the most appropriate
Okay,
way.
thank you. I only asked because, I'm a member of the museum. I got the first letter, and then I was like, oh.
Yep.
And then I saw the second letter. So my whole thing is, thank you for rectifying this situation and taking care of it. Thank you for talking to the county exec, right? For you both working together to help us to make Trenton even better. That's what strong collaboration is all about. So I'm glad that we were able to meet in the middle, and I look forward to seeing the positive results from everything coming forward. Thank you.
Yeah, and if I could just be clear, but for the county's intercedence, we would not be able to even be here on all three projects. So we want the happy ending is with the county's partnership. We're able to proceed on all three projects.
With him and then with you having the conversation as well. That's what
Yes.
we're talking about. Good collaboration and the meeting of the minds to make the things happen. So thank you to you
Absolutely.
both and to Paul and to everyone that helped make this happen so we can take care of what it is we need to do in the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Thank you, Mayor, for your presentation. Just wanted to make it clear for everybody what was going on. Thank you, Dan Benson. Thank you, Paul, all of you for your hard work and diligence during this. So thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks so much.
Mr. Garcia, we can proceed.
Certainly. At this
Oh,
time,
Mr. Garcia, I'm sorry. I just want to be clear. So this walk-on will be 26069?
yes.
Thank you.
At this time, I believe, Madam President, will that be does council satisfied with that and the full explanation, and then including the explanation mentioned previously this meeting?
Any comments from council about this walk-on? No.
Okay, with that in mind, we will move on to public comment for agenda items only. And to the public, you'll have 5 minutes to address anything you wish that is on the docket or the agenda. The council is not obligated to respond to you. Please do state your name and address for the record. And again, you will have 5 minutes to speak. First individual listed for public comment for docket items only is Louise McCants. Okay. Dr. Tara Butler. Got it. Caroline Clark.
Good evening, Council, Trentonians. So I'm here to talk about the resolution ordinance that the mayor just walked on. I'm sorry, Caroline Clark, 1812 Riverside Drive. Thank you. So there's a walk-on, and then there's the docket, the things that are on the docket. And Resolution 26063 says that there is an appropriation of $750,000 from our ARPA funds that's going to be transferred to the county for renovations to the Eagle Tavern. So my question is, why is our ARPA money being transferred to the county to do work that we should be doing here in Trenton? Is this not economic development? Why do we have to give our money? Why are we a conduit for the money to get to the county? The county isn't a real thing. The county is a constellation of municipalities. So essentially, our money is going to the other municipalities. This is, I think they called it regionalization. You're taking our money and you're spending it out in the region. The head of the economic development in the county is a councilman for Hamilton. When was the last time there was something on Hamilton's docket that talked about transferring any of their ARPA money to us? When? It never happens. It flows only from the poor city to the richer cities. Do you guys understand what it is you're here doing? You're selling Trenton out with this. I don't care how pretty the mayor want to say it. I don't care how urgent he wants to do it, because his urgency is not your concern. Waiting till 1 week before the thing expires, that's not the basis on which to make this decision. Our monies should not be going to the county to do something we should be doing here. Once it does that, we have no more control of the money. We have no accounting of the money. And that is how you continue to regionalize Trenton, not just the waterworks. You could call it whatever you want to. He called it shared. He said the happy ending. No, the happy ending is when we have an economic development authority here. Thank you.
Mary Horn.
Mary Horn, 870 Parkside Avenue, Trenton. Good evening, Council. I'd like to speak to 26062 resolution. Okay, I speak to that because it's not clear of what police officers or the public police, or it says here that law enforcement. What law enforcement are we talking about? Because currently, the regular police here, they do not wear masks. So are we talking about Trenton police, or are we talking about ICE? So we need to clarify this, because if we're talking about ICE, yes, I speak to it, because when I see our young Black people, defenders of the cause, toting, or whether it's true or not true, toting AKAs being defenders of the cause, yes, I'm of concern. And yes, we tell our people to stay home and stand down when it comes to ICE. It has nothing to do with how somebody's personal opinions are, or whether we're a pro or a con. That's not the issue. What is true to the issue is that when the Jump Out boys several years ago were wearing masks and jumping out on our community, no one had nothing to say. The people had to come out and speak against that. We never heard anything from the city. All we got was crickets until the young man was shot and paralyzed, okay, for merely being in his car. So if we're going to speak to something as far as what's going on now, then be clear about it. Say what it is, because I haven't seen any of our police officers since we had to shut down the Jump Out boys before no one said anything about it. So be clear about it, because I haven't yet. I'll repeat it again. I don't see any Trenton police officers wearing masks, but I have seen the Jump Out boys wearing masks and using firepower and disabling our people. So, and yes, it needs to be said, and it needs to be clarified. So if you're going to speak to the people, then you need to talk to the people first. We are taxpayers. You don't make a broad statement like that and say, oh, well, we're going to do this and we want to put through this law or resolution. and speak on behalf of everyone, all the people and the taxpayers in the city of Trenton. Make it clear. Get it out to the people. Let us know. Let us make that decision and have some say-so about it. And so that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Robin Washington. Robin Vaughn.
Robin Vaughn, 1100 Stuyvesant Avenue. I just wanted to speak on the county resolution. No, we should not. I concur with Ms. Clark. We should not be using Trenton's money, funds for other governments. Dan Benson needs to tend to the budgetary issues and some of the potential investigations around, we're not funding any of that. You know, there's 85 million plus ARPA funds missing from the county. So he needs to deal with that instead of coming here dipping in our coffers and funds that are allocated to the city of Trenton, an underserved community. So, you know, there are 21 counties in our state, 21 counties. And do you know there's only 5 that have a county executive? So I would just say, Dan needs to go, and I call on my Mercer County residents and taxpayers to engage the the County Board of Commissioners to retire the role of a county executive. The 5 counties that have a county executive currently are Hudson County, Atlantic County, Bergen County, Mercer County, and Essex County. All of the other county governments, have gotten rid of their county exec. It's a no-show job. It has no responsibilities, and it needs to go. And our government at the commissioner board needs to pass an ordinance to get rid of that position, like all of the very astute counties across New Jersey. And we will join the other 20 counties that saw fit to get rid of the inefficient county government. So that's all I'm going to say. No more money to Mercer County. No more money to Dan Benson. He doesn't understand conflict of interest. He's advantaging and putting his thumb on the scale for Hamilton Township, from whence he came, along with the Director of Economic Development, Anthony Carabelli. So they got to go. And that's all I'm going to say. And I hope that none of you guys continue to fund the county or entertain those crooks and corrupt elected officials. So I will end there.
Thank you. Mr. Garcia, do you have any more?
No more, Madam President.
Thank you. We could proceed.
Certainly. Moving on with the agenda, Madam President, if you want to ask for a motion to approve the minutes of January 6th, 2026.
May we have a motion to approve the minutes of January 6th, 2026?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, Councilwoman Edwards.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisbee.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Vice President Williams.
She went.
And Council President Figueroa Kettenberg.
Yes.
Noted. Thank you. Hold on one moment. And Madam President, if you want to ask for a motion to approve communications, petitions, and reports.
May we have a motion to approve communications, petitions, and report?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Who was the second?
Gonzalez.
Thank you. Roll call, Councilwoman Edwards.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisbee.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Vice President Williams is absent. Council President Figueroa Kettenberg.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. And moving on to ordinances for second reading and public hearing. Ordinance 26-003, ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 14 of the Code of the City of Trenton, traffic as it applies to parking restrictions for vans and trucks in residential areas. Are there any members of the public that wish to speak to this ordinance at this time? Seeing none, Madam President, if you want to ask for a motion to approve.
May we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
CP.
Thank you. Well, go ahead.
Councilman Gonzalez?
Yeah, I just wanted to, after speaking to several people who own small businesses who reached out via email, some even called, their concern was they were under the impression that they can't, even if they have a van that has their writing on there, that they can't be in front of, I know it's like it's kind of two of the same, the two different ordinances, yes. So they were really concerned about that because some people don't have, they may have a driveway that they may use to park, but then they may use their van to park in the, in front of their homes. Like that's their only vehicle, but it's also their business vehicle. So they were concerned about that. So we just want to make sure that they're not going to be ticketed. I know it says 19 feet, but even it says vans here also.
Councilwoman Gonzalez,
Yes.
so this is 26003. This is about the people parking in front of their businesses with their business.
So then it's going to be
vans and-
2617.
Yes, you're talking about 26017.
Where's council?
Yes. So this one is about having this is
business.
not presented by me, but yeah, this is about the businesses being able to park their vehicles in a loading zone in front of their businesses.
So I'll wait till
They're
17.
commercial vehicles, and this is only certain businesses as allotted by the city of Trenton.
Gotcha. So
And
I'm
this-
gonna wait
I
till
think this
17
was
comes.
presented by the administration, yeah. So that's 017 when we get there, yeah.
Gotcha. All right.
Okay? Any other questions to this ordinance? Mr. Garcia, none. There are none, so we could proceed.
Thank you. Roll call. Councilwoman Edwards.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisbee.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Vice President Williams.
Yes.
And Council President Figueroa Kettenberg.
Yes.
Motion carried. On to ordinance 26-13, calendar year 2026 ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriations limit and to establish a cap bank, NJSA 40A 4-4514, in the amount of $7,659,348.87. Are there any members of the public that wish to speak to this ordinance at this time? Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 5 minutes.
Yeah, Robin Vaughn, 1100 Stuyvesant Avenue. The cap bank, to increase that, I think, regarding to, I assume that it's going to be to fund the budget. And as we well know, the council has chose to increase the taxes on the city of Trenton. And in light of the substantial surplus that we have out of the Trenton Waterworks. That surplus should be used to help fund a budget and any other expenses we need to do. We should not be increasing the cap bank at all. And the laws, the Water Acts, and the local budget laws permit a municipality that owns a public utility that have customers where the rates are equalized can use our surplus unfettered without any type of interference from anyone to use that surplus to give relief to the taxpayers that hold the burden of funding the whole operations of our municipalities and all our departments and services. So we don't need to increase the cap bank because we have sufficient surplus to fund it. And I'm even talking about the reserve account. And anybody who has completed an undergraduate education and has taken accounting 101, financial accounting 101, or managerial accounting 102, you would know what financial statement is. You would know what a surplus is and what it means. And you would know what a reserve account is and what that is used for. For capital infrastructure and capital expenses and improvement, the surplus is funds that go back that is owed to the taxpayers who have the full obligation and back the utility by their full faith and credit of their taxpayer dollars. That's our money, and you shouldn't be increasing the cap bank of any, and that particularly will increase our property taxes again. But I know some of you don't have that knowledge, but you better get it, okay? And you better consult with your finance director, but I don't know if you even have one. So be responsible. Do some research, do some homework, and stop approving everything that comes to your dais. And I'm going to end there.
CP?
Thank you, Ms. Vaughn. I would like, for this ordinance, specific ordinance 26013, Mr. Cherry, would you be able to come up and explain this and what this surplus means for all of us who don't understand? Thank you.
Good evening, members of council. Good evening, Madam President. I believe what is being referred to as a surplus for the water utility. I just want to be clear that this ordinance is in reference to the city's budget, the current fund. This does not have anything to do with the water utility, and this does not increase the budget. It does not increase taxes. What this does is every year, the state of New Jersey has what is called an appropriations cap. And that essentially says that the total amount you spend the next year can only be 2% higher than what you spent the previous year. And as we all know, especially these days, expenses sometimes go up more than 2%. So what this ordinance says is two things. One, you can spend up to 3.5% more instead of 2%. And if you don't spend that much, it puts it in what is called a cap bank. So it says, even if you don't spend that much, we're going to count your next year's budget as if you had spent that much. And when we don't adopt this, it actually restricts our appropriations and causes us to have to go to DCA more often to say, we can't make it at this limit. We've got to spend more. Our expenses are going up more. The 1 year we didn't adopt this ordinance, we're actually still paying for. We'd have an appropriations cap that's somewhere between $5 to $7 million higher, and we'd have to not be seeking DCA's permission to exceed that cap if we had continued to adopt these ordinances annually. And this is not unique to Trenton. This has nothing to do with a positive or negative financial situation. In fact, municipalities that have plenty of revenue are adopting these kind of ordinances every year. Municipalities that are in worse financial situations adopt this ordinance every year. DCA refers to it as the cost of living ordinance, and it is recommended by DCA that we adopt these ordinances.
Thank you so much, Mr. Cherry. Appreciate it. Thank you. Moving forward, Mr. Garcia.
Are there any other members of the public that wish to speak to this ordinance at this time? Seeing none, Madam President, if you want to ask for a motion to approve.
May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call. Councilwoman Edwards.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisbee.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Vice President Williams.
Yes.
And Council President Figueroa Kettenberg.
Yes.
Motion carried. Ordinance 26-16, ordinance amending Chapter 132, Property Maintenance of the Code of the City of Trenton to add Article 10 entitled Long-Term Vacancy and Stalled Redevelopment Properties to establish standard surcharges and enforcement mechanisms for prolonged vacant and inactive redevelopment sites. Are there any members of the public that wish to speak to this ordinance at this time? Seeing none, Madam President, if you want to ask for a motion to approve.
May we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second,
Okay, that was moved by,
Williams, CVP,
thank you, and the second,
Gonzalez.
thank you. Roll call, Councilwoman Edwards,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano,
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisbee,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez,
Yes.
Vice President Williams,
Yes.
and Council President Figueroa Kettenberg.
Yes.
Motion carried. Ordinance 26-17, ordinance prohibiting the parking of certain vehicles on city streets within the city of Trenton. Are there any members of the public that wish to speak to this ordinance at this time? Go right ahead.
Robin Vaughn, 1100 Stuyvesant Avenue. I spoke to this ordinance, I believe, when it was on first reading, and of course, major concerns. There's no city that allows businesses to park 24/7 in front of their businesses. Now, and certainly nowhere in Mercer County, in Princeton, and nowhere else.
Ms. Vaughn, I'm sorry. This was the previous ordinance that you're speaking to. So
Which one?
The businesses parking in front of their business, the vehicles, the commercial vehicles.
Yeah, I thought that was it.
That was 03. No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Apologies.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Are there any other members of the public that wish to speak to this ordinance at this time? Seeing none, Madam President, if you want to ask for a motion to approve.
May we have?
So moved.
Roll call. No.
CP,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So I did the same thing Ms. Vaughn did and mixed them up. But yeah, so after speaking to some of the businesses, there were a lot of small businesses who reached out in regards to this with concerns of them being ticketed. Some have, mainly the people that I heard from had vans. And their issue was their van is their business, yes, but it is their vehicle that they have in front of their homes. So it's not like anything that's large. So they had a lot of concerns with that. So I just wanted to, just let that be known that there are some people who have some issues with this being not able to park in front of their actual homes if they have that's their working van, but it's also their form of transportation also. Thanks.
Thank you. I mean, if it falls in one of these categories, I know myself and Mr. Kaloji had gone back and forth, as well as Director Bridges and as well as Mr. Santora, about what would apply, because the original ordinance, as it read, just applied to commercial vehicles with the name of the business on it, and ladder vehicles, ladder trucks. And yeah, that already applied, that they could not park on residential streets from, I believe, 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. or 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. I forget exactly what it was. So this was just to add some of those vehicles that were not in that initial ordinance. 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. I'm sorry. That's when they can park. So basically, we were just adding other vehicles that, again, did not have the business name, or did not have a ladder truck, or did not have commercial plates. And for the most part, it's vehicles 19 feet in length and larger.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how this applies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I explained, but I feel like they are not, they're not excited about this one, but okay. I just wanted to state that for the record, because I did receive about 7 or 8 phone calls and emails about that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Garcia, we could proceed.
Oh, we have.
Are there any?
Oh, Council Vice President Williams.
Okay, if my other colleagues would like to go first, that's fine.
Councilwoman Edwards.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so if you guys could actually ask me when you're ready to speak, instead of me just looking at your lights, that would be helpful. Council Vice President Williams.
Okay, it was just a quick question. I know I'd asked before about dump trucks and cement mixers, so I didn't happen to see them listed clearly. So are we, the way they decided not to add those in because it wasn't necessary, or?
Mr. Mr. Kaloji, wouldn't those apply to trucks over 19 feet in length?
I had drafted several versions of this ordinance, and the one that I handed in, my understanding is there were some additional changes made, which I haven't seen. If the clerk will give me, if there's a copy of the final ordinance, I'll answer any questions you have.
So I particularly did not see any additional changes to this. I think that there was a conversation as to Council Vice President Williams as to adding those additional vehicles, but I was under the impression that they did fall under the trucks that were over 19 feet.
If I recall from docket review, I understand that there was that was mentioned, but I don't recall being instructed to make any changes.
Correct.
All right, well then, the ordinance stands as it was written. Is there
As it was written, I believe. I don't believe there was any changes. I'll hand it over to you, sir, in order to.
Council President.
Yeah, Councilwoman Feliciano.
Thank you. So I do recall Council Vice President asking for 2 other kind of vehicles or something being added to this. She spoke to an amendment or something. I do recall vaguely, but she did ask for that when last we met. I thought at the last meeting, right? Yeah, she asked it at the last meeting.
Councilman, please, you're absolutely correct. And I think what it was that they exceeded the 19 feet that is named in this ordinance.
So then
I'm
it would
looking
be
here.
covered.
I'm looking up here. The average dump truck is 20 to 30 feet in length. So
Okay,
it would exceed the 19 feet.
thank you.
So to not have to label it specifically.
All right. And it just maybe for Public Works is in the room, just over time, if it looks like we're also, I don't know if they're smaller than 19, but with trucks of great weight that get parked overnight, they really do damage our sidewalks and our streets. So just and not to affect this ordinance at all. I think it's a good ordinance.
Thank you, Council Vice President. I mean, what I'm looking at is, tri-axle heavy dump trucks are 26 to 30 feet long, and the standard tandem dump trucks are 20 to 26. If it would make you feel more comfortable to actually name those, we could amend that on the dais if you'd like. We can name cement.
I would appreciate just so it's identified. Yes, ma'am.
That's fine. Brandon, Mr. Garcia, if we are able to amend that to add dump trucks and cement trucks to this ordinance,
Is there a motion to do so?
so moved.
Second?
Noted, so that's moved by
Council President,
CP.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
can't we just amend letter C to say pick up dump trucks and whatever the other truck is?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right,
Yeah,
thank
that would be part of that. Yeah, we didn't go specific where it would be, but yes.
Thank you.
Pickup trucks, dump trucks, cement trucks exceeding 19 feet in length.
So,
Excuse me, Council President, subsection E says trucks or vans of any type exceeding 19 feet in length.
Exactly,
So
yes.
any truck, whether it's a dump truck, a cement truck, or anything that's more than 19 feet in length would be covered by this.
So thank you. I mean, that was my sentiment, Mr. Kaloji. Just trying to satisfy council on this ordinance. Council Vice President Williams, are you satisfied with that?
Yeah, as long as Mr. Kaloji legally, I'm fine. Thank you, ma'am.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. We can leave it alone, Mr.
that
Garcia.
motion withdrawn?
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
With that being said, roll call. Councilwoman Edwards,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano,
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisbee,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
I am going to abstain.
Noted.
Thanks.
Vice President Williams
Yes.
and Council President Figueroa Kettenberg.
Yes.
Motion carried. Moving on to resolutions. Madam President, are there any resolutions that you or the council wishes to extract from potential consent agenda this evening? I do understand that there are some that we will be going into executive session, several that we'll be going into executive session for, which I imagine will require a roll call vote. I'll defer to one of the attorneys.
Council President,
Councilwoman Feliciano.
thank you. This one is gonna be minor, but 26062,
Me too.
26047, 26048.
Hold on 1 second. Councilwoman, hold on.
26062.
You were 062.
047, 048, Thank you.
1 second. Okay, thank you.
CP, I have
Yes,
62,
okay.
and just a small addition to 66, if everyone's in agreement.
66. 1 second. Where's 66? Who's that?
It's a,
Oh, I got it.
under Director Harris.
And
Councilman
same
Fritz.
thing, 26062 as well.
062,
Yeah.
okay. Anyone else? Perfect, thank you. Okay, 26062.
Thank you. So, based upon feedback that we heard tonight, I'd be, if please, it's the pleasure of the council and Councilwoman Gonzalez, where we would amend this to say which would prohibit ICE law enforcement officers, because that's who we're speaking to, right?
Yes, but I also wanted to include I know our current police officers don't use masks, but it was like to any police, like
Yeah.
prosecute, whoever.
Council President?
Yes.
This is,
Yes, Mr. Kaloji.
this isn't our own
Right.
enactment. What we're doing here is we're expressing support for a bill that's before the legislature, S3112. And I don't have the bill in front of me, but my recollection is it prohibits any federal, state, county, or local law enforcement from either wearing masks or disguising themselves during their official duties and their interaction with the public, except for very limited exceptions. Undercover operation, a medical situation. So this was drafted by the legislature, and we're expressing support for the bill as a whole.
So then, to that point, can we, I mean, when we see it, can you say federal, state, local, county, whoever?
Yeah, it says the bill itself.
I mean, I know it says for his law
It
enforcement
doesn't
officer.
mention ICE like specifically. but
Right.
I think ICE is clearly subsumed within the ambit of federal, state, county, or local law enforcement officers.
It's listed in the whereas, but it doesn't say ICE. You're right.
I would agree. Again, this is, we would be supporting a bill
Right.
asking the legislature to
change.
amend the bill based on our support of.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
never
And to
mind.
be very candid, I respectfully would submit, I don't think the legislature has the ability to govern federal law enforcement, but that's for the legislature to figure out.
Okay. And then just one thing, the spelling of ensure should be ENSURE. Thank you. Consent for me.
Yeah, it's a
Thank
consent.
you,
for me also.
Councilwoman.
Thank you.
Councilman, consent, okay. Thank you, consent.
Oh, I thought Chris-
Frisbee, yes, I apologize, yes.
So with this same bill, the same resolution, I don't see where it says, so if they don't, do we have something in place? What are the repercussions? How do we enforce this if we see them in our community? What does the community have as an alternative if they see them in the community? What do they do? What could they do?
Well, if this passes the legislature, it's going to be a law in the state of New Jersey. And if someone violates the law, they're subject to punishment as a disorderly person under the disorderly person statute. They're subject to a fine. They're actually subject to potential jail time. Now, how is that going to play out? You know, I have no idea. I mean, are the Trenton police going to arrest a nice guy if he comes in with a mask on and charge him with a disorderly persons offense? And this all
It was
is
done in New York.
developing law. The question is, as Mr. Bridges, raised, does the state have the authority to regulate ICE and to impose these restrictions? The courts are going to eventually get to all this, and we're going to find out. But right now, just taking it a step at a time, let's say this is a good idea and see where it goes.
Thank you, Mr. Kalochi.
Thank you.
Consent.
Thank you. And just to be clear, this is a resolution in support of what the legislation
Correct.
does
Right.
with
It's
regards to
not us,
this.
ma'am.
Thank you. All right, moving forward, Mr. Garcia, we are on to 26047, Councilwoman Feliciano.
Thank you, Madam President. Just a quick question here. I see we're taking money from the crossing guards and then communication, salaries and wages, and then money from the rent stabilization board, salary, and wages. Just some clarity on what's happening, right? And then we're moving like, 3.5 mil from police salary and wages as well. Give us some context just so we're all clear on what exactly is happening. Was that due to positions not being filled?
Good evening. Colin Cherry, Assistant Business Administrator. There are a variety of reasons depending on the particulars. The police salary and wage, that 3.5 million, almost in its entirety is going into the salary and wage adjustment program, which is what it was for last year. We're just moving it into that line so we can put it in the trust for salary and wage adjustment. These other things, some are unexpended balances in small amounts. Some, the salary wages are typically because position wasn't filled or was only filled later in the year, but had been budgeted for the whole year. So whatever was unexpended. And just for the public's edification, just to be clear, this is regarding calendar year 2025. So these are the budget year that has passed. So we know for a fact that these are the dollar amounts that are unexpended, and we're kind of moving them into the places that need them, or in the case of the salary and wage adjustment, putting them there so that they can be put in the trust and used in the future once contracts are settled.
And the communication salary and wages, what does that deal with?
That is the police department's division of communications. So those are some unexpended balances, both for positions that remain unfilled or are working to be filled, but had some portion of the year in calendar year 25 when they were not filled.
Okay. And then, okay, so to the two part where it's the salary and wage adjustment program, it's to account for, I guess, when contracts are settled or whatever, and then you all have to spread the money.
Yeah, so that trust, that line item and the trust that accompanies it are used to pay retro pays, essentially, once contracts are settled, so that we have a bunch of a surplus of funds that we can utilize, so we're not looking for those funds in the budget year when the contract gets settled.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course.
Consent.
CP, can I just ask one quick question? It's not.
Gonzalez, yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Cherry, it's really just because you just brought up the where was it at? The crossing guards. How many vacancies do we still have for that? A lot? For the crossing guards? I know this isn't a police warden, but I just figured, because there's been several people that reach out about the crossing guard positions, but I'm just curious as to how many we still have left.
I just spoke with the director. We have about 25 vacancies. However, we have a number of applications, and individuals are currently going through the background check process.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say there's been several people that reached out, so I was just curious.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a good number. We've seen a surge in applicants.
Okay.
So we're just going through the process. So we do expect those vacancies to be filled.
Okay.
They just have not been filled as of today.
Gotcha. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Cherry. I mean, I know that a number of schools have reached out with needs for crossing guards that they don't have them. So appreciate that. Thank you. Any other questions?
Council President?
Yes, Councilwoman Feliciano.
I'm sorry. So then we're taking the money from the crossing guards, spreading it into these other accounts over here. So when we see the new budget coming up, we'll see another line item for crossing guards for the next year?
Yes, you're going to still see a line item for crossing guards. I don't have that item in front of me, but I suspect that the number hasn't changed from what was requested last year. This represents unexpended funds, so where we weren't able to fill those vacancies. So there was funding authorization left over, and we're just moving that money over to places that needed it for last year.
And how come we weren't able to fill the positions?
My understanding is that we had some dearths of applications for a period of time, but we have since received quite the groundswell of interest. So we're very, very hopeful that we'll be able to fill them for this year.
Thank you.
Consent? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Cherry. Councilman Feliciano, was it 26048 or 49?
4-8.
48, thank you.
I'll be quick. Just, so it says here in the title, the authorizing of the temporary emergency budget appropriations, right? The fund of 110,000.
Yes.
Never mind. I was looking at the 69,988, but it said including, 69, never mind. I'm good. Thank you. Consent. Bye.
Thank you, Councilwoman. All right, moving forward, we have 26066, Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yes, just real quick. I just want to see, can we add two to the list to have a representative for the Ecuadorian Association and the Trenton Multicultural Society, which is pretty much our Asian community?
Council President.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
So Councilwoman Gonzalez, excellent question. The thing is, there's only 15. There's only 15 that can be added. If it's the administration's pleasure, you'd have to look to
amend it,
take something off to put something on. But these meetings don't restrict other people from coming to the meetings.
Yeah, no, I get that. Or maybe we can amend it to increase the amount of people or on the board.
So then we would have to go back to the original
original one.
ordinance that I presented, and then we'd have to increase it there to increase it here. But I don't have a problem, doing that. We can do that at the next meeting. So let's look into that. What were the two that you asked for?
Yep, okay.
Can you say the names again?
It was the Ecuadorian Civic Association and then Trenton Multicultural Society. That's pretty much our Asian population.
Council President, if I may just
Yes.
point of clarification. Under the enabling ordinance, we're capped at 15.
I know, that's what you just said.
So if we were to amend this
original.
to increase it, that would be kind of backwards. We would have to amend that enabling ordinance.
We're not doing that.
We're not doing
Director Bridges. Well, I just asked her to just tell me the name so I knew what they were.
Gotcha.
I just said that we will go back and amend the original ordinance to 17, and then we can run this back again if it's the administration's pleasure to add those two, and then we're good.
So if
I just wanted the names of what she wanted. That's all. So we're fine.
You're not going to consider it today then? Is that
No,
No.
no. We're gonna leave it like it is
Yes,
today.
yes.
But then for the next meeting, we'll amend the other ordinance to 17,
Yes.
and then we'll bring it back with the other two to add to the list.
So if I'm clear, are we going to move this resolution today and then
Yes.
do an amendment to the ordinance and then present another
No.
resolution with the other two?
We're going
to table this.
We're gonna do
Okay.
this today.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna present an amendment to the original ordinance to increase the number to 17.
Right.
And then at the same time, once we do that, then we can, after that,
Add
if
other
it's
ones.
time, then we can add the other two.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah,
Okay.
tonight is as is,
So
Council President.
tonight as
consent.
is,
Yes.
amend the ordinance and then do another resolution with two additional.
Right, but tonight we
organizations.
good,
Right,
just like
that's
this.
what I thought. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yep,
Thanks, CP.
proceed. And having said that, there's no more questions to the docket. We can proceed, Mr. Garcia.
Excuse me. Certainly, Madam President, at this time, then, if you would like to ask for a motion to approve a consent agenda consisting of 26062. One moment, please. 26067, we'll take a motion to go into executive there afterwards. 26068. 26047, 048, excluding 049 through 056, excluding 057, including 26063, 064, 058, 059, 26-60, and 2026-066, 61, and 65.
May we have a motion to approve? And 69, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, and 69, the walk-on, thank you.
Yes, the walk-on, yes. Thank you, Councilwoman Frisbee. Yes.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
We got, oh, I'm sorry, Council President?
Yes.
We got 063 too, right?
Yes.
Yes.
That's in there? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Good, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Roll call, Councilwoman Edwards,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano,
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisbee,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez,
Yes.
Vice President Williams,
Yes.
Council President Figueroa Kettenberg.
Yes.
Motion carried. On to ordinances for first reading and introduction. Ordinance 26-005, ordinance authorizing the sale of city-owned property commonly known as 340 Rutherford Avenue and identified on the city tax map as Block 4403, Lot 34, pursuant to NJSA 48-1213C to Vladimir Castillo for the sale price of $12,500.
May we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Councilwoman Edwards,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
Council President,
Councilwoman Feliciano.
I just want to be clear. With these now, y'all met about this, right?
Yes.
That's why we're looking at it.
We met about them, but they're still the older ordinances, but we did meet about them, yes.
Okay. But they on here because y'all
Yes.
good with them being on here. That's the question. Right. Okay, yes then. Councilwoman Edwards said yes, so yes then.
Noted.
To first.
Councilwoman.
Thank you.
And then, so I'm going
Councilwoman
to
Fr-
piggyback on that. So the old ordinances, those are going to be presented to us. And that's going to be in a very timely manner.
Correct.
Okay. Yes.
So I just wanted to be clear. I did make it clear that I was allowing all these ordinances for the property sales on the docket for council to vote accordingly. I understand that things will be changing moving forward. My position for these older ordinances remains the same, and I have made that abundantly clear. I am abstaining. Thank you.
Council President, I'm sorry. I mean, are y'all good with it or not?
I'm sorry, all, but with all due respect, we got a motion on the floor at this time. It's to vote or not to vote.
Thank you. My turn?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Vice President Williams,
Yes.
Council President Figueroa Kettenberg.
CP. No.
Council President?
Abstain.
Noted, thank you. That motion carries. Ordinance 26-009, ordinance authorizing the sale of city-owned property commonly known as 408 and 440 Walnut Avenue, identified on the city tax map as Block 26602, lots 30 and 14 pursuant to NJSA 48-1213C to Napoleon Pitts for the sale price of $23,650. And Madam President, if you want to ask for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Councilwoman Edwards,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano,
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisbee,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez,
Yes. Yes.
Vice President Williams,
Yes.
Council President Figueroa Kettenberg.
Yes.
Abstain.
Noted. Motion carried. Ordinance 26-10, ordinance authorizing the sale of city-owned property commonly known as 444 to 446 West Hanover Street, identified on the city tax map as Block 2301, lots 3 and 2, pursuant to NJSA 48-1213B5 to Robin S. Washington for the sale price of $2,000.
CP.
May we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call. Councilwoman Edwards,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano,
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisbee,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez,
Yes.
Vice President Williams,
Yes.
Council President Figueroa Kettenberg.
Yes.
Ordinance, motion carried. Ordinance 26-11, ordinance authorizing the sale of city-owned property commonly known as 468 Riverside Avenue and identified on the city tax map as block 3103, lot 25, pursuant to NJSA 48-1213C to Kim Moore for the sale price of $20,000. Madam President, if you want to ask for a motion to approve.
Oh, yes, we have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
Mr. Garcia.
Yes.
Before we proceed with these, I just want to be clear on my council. These properties were on the docket prior. They had been pulled. They had been moved back on. We had asked for certain things in the HUD subcommittee of what we want for these properties moving forward. Having said that, we are hopeful that those things moving forward will be put into place. These were older applications, so that's, I agree to allow these on the docket. And that's why they are here. And as I said, I would allow my council to vote accordingly as you have been the past year or so. That's why these are on the docket. I am still not comfortable myself in how they were being put forward before, and that's why I am maintaining my abstention. Just wanted to be clear. Mr. Garcia, you can proceed.
Certainly. I believe we're at roll call. Councilwoman Edwards.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisbee.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Vice President Williams
Yes.
and Council President Figueroa.
Abstain.
Noted. Motion carried. Ordinance 26-12, ordinance authorizing the sale of city-owned property commonly known as 560 North Clinton Avenue and identified on the city tax map as block 21902, lot 4, pursuant to NJSA 48-1213C to Kim Moore for the sale price of $10,000. Madam President, if you want to ask for a motion to
May
approve.
we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call. Councilwoman Edwards.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisbee.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Vice President Williams.
Yes.
Council President Figueroa Kettenberg.
Abstain.
Noted. Motion carried. Ordinance 26-18, ordinance authorizing the sale of city-owned property commonly known as 16 Murray Street and identified on the city tax map as block 2605, lot 26, pursuant to NJSA 48-1213C to Ramon Jimenez for the sale price of $13,000.
May we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call. Councilwoman Edwards.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisbee.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Vice President Williams.
Yes.
Council President Figueroa Kettenberg.
Abstain.
Noted. Motion carried. Ordinance 26-19, ordinance rescinding the sale of city-owned property previously authorized to Luis Pesantes and Rene Reyes pursuant to ordinance 25-054.
May we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call. Councilwoman Edwards.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisbee.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Vice President Williams.
Yes.
Council President Figueroa Kettenberg.
Abstain.
Noted.
Council President,
Yes, ma'am.
can I just ask a quick question?
Mm-hmm.
So on this rescinding of the one, right? It said the structure had worsened. They had subsequent inspections and evaluations, right? It was an imminent hazard, blah, blah, blah. Are they doing inspections on these properties before now we're even doing these sales? Like, is the city doing inspections on them?
So, Council.
Because I know that there was a question before where you were questioning about, they were saying that it only takes $100,000 to approve all of these properties, and that was like a standard number. But how do we get to that number if no one goes out and inspects the properties to come to that number? And now here we are reading this that says the structure is worsened, it's hazardous, they gotta fully demolish it. What now is the fix as far as inspections? Are they doing them or not?
Thank you, Councilwoman. That was exactly my question. The short answer is yes. Ms. Vasquez, could you speak to this, please?
Good evening, Council President, members of council. Yolanda Vasquez, Interim Director, Housing and Economic Development. For this particular property, there was an imminent hazard for the 271 Tyler Street. We had a person come in, they wanted to purchase it. Now we can't get in contact with that person. So we needed to move forward, rescind this so that we can stabilize the property.
But, Ms. Vasquez, to that, it did say that the property was in such a disarray or incapacitated or hazardous, that was the reason. It wasn't because we couldn't get in touch with these people. That's how the ordinance reads.
Because they would not come forward to do any work to the property. So once we saw they weren't coming forward, it came into an imminent hazard and we were gonna have to step in.
All right. So this wasn't presented before in the HED subcommittee, that it was because they weren't coming forward. It was presented because they didn't really know what they were getting into, or they did because it was sold as is or what have you, which was a concern.
Let me clarify. It was explained to this applicant what they had to do. Once they saw what they had to do, they were not gonna come back to do it. They wanted to do the work by themselves without hiring a licensed contractor. And for this type of job, they were not qualified.
But did they vocalize that we are not going to go forward with the sale of this property because it's too much for us as stated in this ordinance?
Yes, they told one staff member, Ms. Pabon.
Okay, because like I said, saying that they just didn't come back forward to complete the sale and saying because of these hazardous conditions, the property cannot be safely transferred or conveyed in its current state are two different things. So we need this ordinance to relate exactly why the reason is that this is being rescinded. Okay. Councilor Feliciano.
Did you have a question?
No.
Okay. So, thank you. So, for everything that's going to be done to this place, because it's a wreck, is the value to do whatever is going to be done greater than $100,000?
Definitely.
Right. So again, then is the question, when these people are coming out to purchase these properties, are you all doing inspections on your end, or are you requiring the people to have an inspection done that maybe they take in that fee? Somebody should be inspecting this stuff to see what's going on. Is that happening, or are we just flat out saying everything is $100,000? Yeah, go ahead and buy it, and then they're just kind of left out there because we've already had a situation like this with somebody already before, where we ended up putting in additional monies to help this rectify their issue. Is your department doing inspections on the properties when people come out to buy?
We are currently doing inspections now. Also, moving forward, we're going to be requesting for quotes for the repairs to be submitted to council.
Right, okay. And then with that, then to verify that they would have the funds to be able to do everything. The whole thing is, and again, I just want to say this on record to be clear, right? Thank you for all the meetings that we've had and the discussions that we've had. While we do want to make sure that these properties move in the city, and we do want people in the city to own properties and be homeowners and all of that, we want to make sure that they are making good decisions in what they're doing. So the city wants to move it because we want the property back on the tax roll, but not at the detriment of the residents. That's my standpoint on it, right? And so that's why when we were meeting and just grilling down to say, produce this for us and produce this for us and produce this for us, again, it would then go back to the fact of saying, if we had proper leadership in the HED department in the form of an HED director, and it's not a slight against anyone. I know that you're acting, and thank you for doing your part, Interim Director Vasquez, and for everything you do. But if we had adequate leadership in the HED department that could take things like this, it shouldn't have taken council going back 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. She's still abstaining from stuff. Like, it shouldn't take all that for us to get to where we need to be to make this right for the residents in the city. It's nice to have it on the tax roll. I'm with that. But I want people to know and make good, conscious decisions when they're going and buying this stuff, and make sure that we do our due diligence to make sure that that happens. So I just wanted to say that out loud yet again on the record so that we're all clear. But I thank you now for now implementing, doing the inspections and everything. I appreciate that. I think that things may hopefully get better with that being done. Thank you. Thank you, Council President.
Director Bridges, I have a quick question. Given Interim Director Vasquez's kind of testimony that, they kind of just didn't come back, but then the language is in this ordinance. Can you just kind of speak to, are you comfortable with us maintaining this ordinance as it reads, or should something be amended in it?
Well, if I could just get a point of clarification, the sale has not been completed yet, is that correct? So I think a key part that's missing, to answer your question, I am fine going forward if we want to amend it to say because the proposed purchaser has not come forward to make this structure safe, the city is thereby rescinding it so we can make it safe. Reason being, this is still city-owned property, and it's an imminent hazard. And if it is not secured, and someone should get hurt there, it should fall, whatever the case may be, we are liable. So the real thrust and the real reason that this rescission is coming before you is not so much the vetting or the inspection or the ability to, the person is not coming to make this place safe, and we, because we own it, have to make it safer. We will be sued for any injuries there. So to the extent we want to add some language just to reflect that, that would be fine. It's not a substantive major change. It's more clarifying why we're rescinding it.
Director, so thank you. Do you have a question?
Oh,
Go
that's-
one sec-
Councilwoman.
one quick question.
Sorry.
Hold on. So before I go to them, so we would essentially be making a motion to rescind the vote to accept the ordinance and then making a motion to amend it and then redoing our vote? Would that be how we'd have to proceed?
This would be rescinding the sale that was approved by council. You're basically rescinding the legislative
Right,
vision.
but I mean, we already voted. We already went across the board to vote to introduce it. Would we have to rescind the introduction to amend it or no?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I personally, the best practice would be to vote on it as is, as it's written. We now have clarification. The public has heard what the reason behind it is and why we need to do it. So, I mean, I think it accomplishes the same thing. We want to add, due to inaction by the proposed purchaser, we can do that as well.
So we can amend it before second reading, basically.
Yes,
Got it. Okay. Any, and my council colleagues have any further questions? Okay, thank you. Mr. Garcia, we could proceed. Thank you.
Ordinance 26-20, an ordinance amending ordinance 25-148, which created the position of Economic Development Representative for the Department of Housing and Economic Development, Division of Economic Development.
May we have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Roll call. Councilwoman Edwards.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano. Councilwoman Frisbee.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Vice President Williams.
Yes.
Council President Figueroa Kettenberg.
Yes.
Motion carried. Ordinance 26-21, ordinance authorizing the conveyance of city-owned property located on South Broad Street and identified on the City of Trenton tax map as block 16308, lot 8, to the County of Mercer, NJSA 48-12-13, for compensation, $42,800.
May we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Really quickly, before you do the roll call, I just want to thank the city of Trenton and the county of Mercer for this. This was presented, and the city of Trenton with the county of Mercer did a great negotiation to come to this amount for $42,800 for this property that they are going to rehabilitate. So I appreciate both parties. Thank you. Can proceed.
Roll call. Councilwoman Edwards.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisbee.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Vice President Williams.
Yes.
Council President Figueroa Kettenberg.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Council President,
Yes. Councilwoman Feliciano.
when we get through these last two, can we just, before we break, just have somebody from the administration just briefly explain the ownership of the Eagle Tavern so that everyone understands exactly what happened with that, if you don't mind, once we get through these two here?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yep. Proceed, Mr. Garcia.
Ordinance 26-22, ordinance authorizing the transfer of city-owned property identified on the City of Trenton tax map as block 16001, lot 6, 6.01, 6.02, 6.03, and, all right, Frudemacher? Yep. Frudemacher Alley pursuant to NJSA 4812A-G to the County of Mercer for the sum of $1.
And we have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Councilwoman Edwards.
Sorry, I was wondering.
What's the issue? Issue.
Abstain?
Noted, thank you. Councilwoman Feliciano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisbee.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Vice President Williams.
Yes.
Council President Figueroa Kettenberg.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Mr. Garcia, Councilwoman Edwards noted abstention may also apply to 26021. Could we do that vote again?
We get a motion for reconsideration of the ordinance. Is
May
that
we have a
correct,
motion
sir?
for reconsideration of
So
ordinance 26021?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call. Councilwoman Edwards.
And this is just a
This-
This is for reconsideration.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisbee.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Vice President Williams.
Yes.
Council President Figueroa Kettenberg.
Yes.
Thank you. And if we're going to motion to approve.
May we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Hold on one second here. That was moved by Feliciano, second by Frisbee,
Frisbee.
correct? Thank you. And roll call once again. Councilwoman Edwards.
Abstain?
Thank you. Councilwoman Feliciano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisbee.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Vice President Williams.
Yes.
Council President Figueroa Kettner.
Yes.
Motion carried. Ordinance 26-023, ordinance authorizing the sale of city-owned property identified on the City of Trenton tax map as block 11403, lot 4.01, pursuant to NJSA 40A12G to the County of Mercer for the sum of $139,500.
May we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Councilwoman Edwards.
Abstain.
Noted. Councilwoman Feliciano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisbee.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Vice President Williams.
Yes.
And Council President Figueroa Kettner.
Yes.
Motion carried. And I just want to check with the attorneys very quickly. I only asked for a motion to reconsider the ordinance. The vote had passed. Am I okay with the latter vote now in that order? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to the law department for that. And Madam President, this time, I believe we reached the point of public comment.
Great.
Yes. We can
Could I have the
proceed.
public comment clipboard, please? Based on the amount of individuals listed, you will have yes, there are, Madam President, we have 10 individuals listed for public comment. Public comment will be 5 minutes for each individual, I take it?
Correct.
You may address any item that you wish. The council is not obligated to respond.
Thank you.
First person listed is Kevin Sierenberg. I hope I got that correct. Thank you. Please state your name and address for the record. You're going to want to hit that little red button. Yep, that's the one.
Kevin Sierenberg, 1502 Lamberton Road, Trenton. I came here tonight to just let everybody know the Trenton Sewer Authority is leaking in one of its towers. You don't see it all the time because like the last 3 weeks it's frozen, but during the summer months when there's no rain, New Jersey occasionally has dry weather and the road that I come in on is wet. This was years ago. They actually did work on that same tower and the problem was fixed, but now lately it's leaking and you can see frozen brown ice around a door around the tower. So I apologize. I'm just letting you know that I drive through that when it melts and it's just one of those things where you go home, you pick up your kids. I'm hitting a car wash every other day and it's not good. So hopefully there's enough funding to take a look at that and hopefully, and sorry to bring it upon everyone here. I don't know who to call. I don't want to go into the sewer authority and start knocking on doors. It's just, it smells. So God bless the people that work there. Can't thank them enough. You know, they do a job that nobody wants to do. So, but there is a serious situation on one of the towers. There's 3 towers and one of them's leaking. Thank you.
Mr. Sierenberg, thank you so much. You're at 1502 Lamberton. You were down at the marina, correct?
It's
Dock Island?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Director, Trent Waterworks is here. You can speak to him directly.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Brandon, please.
Patricia Allen? No, not here. Deborah, hold on. Okay. Marge Caldwell Wilson? Victory Rosari? Right.
Victor Irizarry, 19 Moreland Avenue. Again, it's a pleasure. It's about 3 or 4 things I want to say real quick. But first of all, to the Reverend Jesse Jackson passed away today. Appreciate his work with the Nation of Islam, even though he had a denounced Ms. Farrakhan due to political pressure when he was seeking a nomination for president. But I still respect his work all the way back to the Reverend Martin Luther King, and he's been criticized by many black people. And nowadays, well, anyway, my point is, due to Black History Month, honor to the Reverend Jesse Jackson. Again, L.A. Parker, in his article today, there was a few articles I wanted to speak on, but this one, the resurgence of the N-word in modern America, that's an extension of what they call the hip-hop generation or culture, and then that's also from an extension of what they call the culture of violence where I come from in the 80s, and now Mr. L.A. Parker thinks that's a big issue to write about instead of the war going evil and destruction of the bloodline of God, what I call the tribe of, what is called the tribe of Shabazz. All right, and you should be talking about that and repealing the Executive Order 11727 that J. Edgar Hoover put in place for that purpose, to destroy that particular group of people, the tribe of Shabazz, which is the bloodline of God, and Jesus is supposed to come from, and so is the Black Messiah. And then on top of that, Mr. Austin Edwards and Corey McNair, that maybe Mr. Austin, you may have been involved in a few events, but as far as putting out in the paper that anybody involved with police corruption to come to see him, he will represent maybe last year. And Mr. Corey McNair was a police officer for 10 years. And these two individuals want to, jump up and run for mayor, like it's something easy to do without really having, as far as I'm concerned, knowledge in politics, whatever profession they're in, yes, but in politics, no, like Miss Edwards. And she put the work in, and she has nice staff that she's worked with, and so forth. I think that's very disrespectful. And along with the N-word, so-called N-word that we're using these days, that's back here at the end of the article. Mr. Parker says that, welcome to Trenton, and where the realities of discrimination, dissent, and distance reveal after a sport event leads to discovery of, despite great intention to create a more perfect union, we may never figure out our issues of race. Race is a falsehood, just like crime in America and race on planet Earth. That was some devised by Lucifer against Elohim, which is, the blood. It's a people. The devil and Elohim are actually people, and one is against the other, and that's happening today. So to just disregard God and the devil, and make racial issue that we can't resolve, or we have to resolve it. You got to recognize there's a God, and there's a devil, and there's a people that are pro-God, and people are pro-devils, and in between are the atheists and those who straddle the fence. And this kind of thinking will never get anything resolved, and that's what I have to say. Thank you.
I have is that Palmer? Yeah. Ms. Horn, you reading this?
Good evening, Mary Horn, Parkside Avenue, Trenton. That's plus. I just want to speak to 26047 again in reference to the crossing part issue. As president of the Oakland Civic, I also get calls. As a matter of fact, I believe I initiated the issue here at City Council. It's imperative that we fund the crossing guards. And I'll tell you why, because firstly, they're the eyes and the ears to the police department. Children, first, second grade, are crossing themselves across busy streets. Also, they're being bullied going to school, in school, coming from school. Now they're not going to school. So I would really press the issue about funding the security of the crossing guards, because they are very well needed here in the city. And also, just to expound on this real quick, because I made a comment about it. Social media is putting out false narratives and creating facades about Trenton Water Works. There is nothing wrong with our water. And who's ever doing this, whatever media is doing this, they should be investigated and prosecuted to the fullest. We're talking about a public water utility here. It creates widespread panic unnecessarily. We know who's doing it, basically, some people, and we know why they're doing it. But I say again, there's nothing wrong with our water, and they could never say that, and you will never see that in there because it's not true. So, again, I believe the people who are putting these false narratives out on social media should be investigated and prosecuted. Thank you for your time.
Candia Torres. Whoever was in here. Three.
Candia Torres, 215 Stacy Avenue. I'm here tonight representing over 100 residents who have signed a petition, both online and in person, calling for a common sense policy change. The mandatory use of body-worn cameras for all city housing, zoning, and code enforcement inspectors. I'm here because our current system relies too heavily on he said, she said accounts. When an inspector enters a home, they hold the power to decide if a family remains or if they need to relocate. That level of authority requires the protection of an objective, verifiable record. Asking for these body cameras are not about surveillance. It is about accountability, fairness, and compassion. For the tenants, the cameras will provide an objective record of what was observed. It ensures when hazardous living conditions are reported, there is undeniable proof of what the city saw. For responsible landlords, most property owners want compliance, not conflict. Cameras will eliminate hearsay. When a violation is documented, the landlord sees exactly what the inspector saw, removing the guesswork and fostering mutual accountability. For city inspectors, this will protect staff from false accusations of misconduct and backs up professional enforcement with facts rather than impressions. It will likely decrease the volume of complaints for both sides and ensure that the city has the necessary grounds to address any internal ethics or performance concerns. This proposal supports every stakeholder involved. By implementing body-worn cameras, the city provides a layer of legitimacy that often de-escalates conflicts. This is about clarity, trust, and justice. The 100+ residents who signed this petition just want to breathe. They want to know that when the city enters a residence, the truth is being recorded. I respectfully urge this council to place item on an upcoming agenda. Let's move forward with legislation that protects our residents, supports our inspectors, and ensures that no one in the city is left in the dark. Thank you. These are the
Robin Washington.
Good evening, City Council. Robin Washington, 447 West Hanover Street. First, I would like to acknowledge that I did see 444, 446 on the agenda for the first reading, and I appreciate that. And I understand that there has to be a second reading before it's approved, so I'm anticipating that as well. The issue that which is really a long-standing issue for me, is in the time that it has taken 6 years plus to get approval to purchase this property. Just yesterday, I'm seeing folks that come into my community that don't look like me, that are assessing city-owned properties, which, a few months back, I was informed that the goal for the city is to have city-owned properties, as opposed to having these individuals that don't live in the city who just come here for profit, come in, barely get the properties to pass, and they routinely rotate people in and out. Just in the area that I live in, I'm aware that there's 4 properties that proper inspections could not have been done, because the house that I purchased next door to my house, I had to have 4 lead inspections when the house was completely empty, all new flooring, all new paint, but it took 4 times in order for this to pass without anybody living in it. At least 2 of these properties across the street from my house, people have moved out at the beginning of January, and somebody's in there at the end of January. So maybe it's just me and not understanding how it took almost 4 months for my property to be it passed the housing inspection, but the lead inspection was a whole nother ballgame. So, and that took almost 4 months. So I'm trying to figure out how, with less than 4 weeks, these individuals that don't look like me, that come into the city with out-of-state tags, can come in, purchase properties, have people going in and out, and an inspection allegedly has been done, that with this new law that lead testing is mandatory for rental apartments or rental properties. I'm trying to figure out the fairness of it all, where I have to go through so many changes to rent out my properties, but yet folks that don't look like me, don't live in the city, can just come in and just repeatedly rent to folks. To me, I think it's them taking advantage of certain people who may not be able to rent properties in other areas. Not that my area is a bad area. I live in a decent neighborhood, but I think that they're probably being taken advantage of, because how can you move somebody out the end of December, beginning of January, and then on January 27th, you have a whole new tenant moving in? I will address this issue during the day because I'm going to be requesting OPRA, that's the Open Public Records Act, to get information on these landlords who are basically absentee slumlords. Thank you.
Robin Vaughn.
Robin Vaughn, 1100 Stuyvesant Avenue. And I just want to remind everyone that the city of Trenton and our municipal charter, we're under the Faulkner Act, strong mayor, council form of government, and we're nonpartisan. We are a nonpartisan government. And I have noticed throughout the past several months that many folks on this council has been acting in violation of that covenant, that they're literally out here campaigning for a particular political party, and they're using their council title to do it. Okay, so take note on that, and that's unethical and actually can be criminal. And it's very interesting that the county exec was here today when he had an interest on the docket. He's an executive and he in violation, and he knows, Dan Benson knows, that the city of Trenton is nonpartisan. So that's why I say that the county commissioners and the residents and taxpayers of Mercer County need to ensure that we align with the 16 other counties in our state to eliminate the job of the county executive. So I look at, he's in Hamilton, he came from Hamilton Township. I had some dealings with him in 2018 when he and his colleagues on the state legislature sponsor a bill to create Mercer Regional Waterworks. And now he's the executive and still putting his thumb on the scale for his municipality in Hamilton Township, along with the former president of Hamilton Council, Anthony Carabelli, who is the director. He serves 3 roles. He's the Director of Economic Development of Mercer County. He sits on the council of Hamilton Township, which is also the redevelopment agency of that municipality, and he's a council member. He needs to be investigated, and there should be an audit of how much redevelopment went into Hamilton Township during the period when he served in those 3 capacities. Okay? So, and Dan Benson is a part of that corruption. And I'm going to just read an email that I received from one of the most esteemed attorneys in the state of New Jersey at the time, and probably the country. He served our city of Trenton, but he's now since passed on. And he represented the city when in the Supreme Court case with Trenton Waterworks in 2010, that we won, okay? This email came from Edward McManaman. And he wrote, and to all my other council colleagues, and at the time, John Morelli, and Mr. Kaloji was here as well, and the clerk was Dwayne Harris. And he said, Robin, you did not ask or raise this last night, or in our email exchange, nor did you particularly ask my opinion or advice. But to complete the explanation on the subject of the transfer of surplus from the city's water utility to the city as a revenue for use in its current fund, rather limited to 5% or not. The principal reason that the budget law and the Water Supply Act provide for such transfer of some of the water utility surplus is because the city owns the utility. And as I pointed out last night, if the utility revenues are insufficient for whatever the reason due to collections or rates to meet the obligation of the utility, it is the city taxpayers who bear the responsibility to make up any shortfall. It does not fall to the taxpayers of the outside towns. That risk is all on the city. And he goes on to say, if the state seeks to prevent us transfers, if the state seeks to prevent such transfers as part of the MOU, you should fight or at least oppose that effort for a very legitimate, substantive reason. Because in doing so, the state, would have missed the point of the rationale for such transfers being the financial return
Ms. Vaughn, that is your
for the owners of the city associated.
Austin Edwards.
All right, good evening, all. First, brother, if you need my contact information, happy to connect with you. But as you all know, my name is Austin Edwards. And I first want to start off saying that, speaking about trust. And trust is the most valuable currency that any city has. And right now in our community, that trust is being worn down every time that our public money is being moved, reassigned, or redirected without clear explanation. When funds are allocated one way and then quietly reallocated another. When projects are announced, but the financial trail becomes difficult to follow. When residents are left asking basic questions where their tax dollars actually went. People notice and they remember. That erosion of trust becomes very real when these questions arise around places that are part of our shared history and especially our identity. When the public hears about missing or unaccounted for funds connected to places like the Eagle Tavern. When concerns surface around money tied to Ellerslie Museum. These are not just line items in a budget. They're cultural landmarks. There are community treasures, and they are institutions that belong to us, the people. Now, I'm glad that these items, 63 and 64, were either pulled or resolved somehow tonight. But when the public cannot clearly see what happened to the money that was connected with them, it sends a larger message. It sends a message that transparency is optional. A message that accountability is negotiable. A message that residents are expected to simply accept uncertainty about their own tax dollars. This is not acceptable. We shouldn't have to hear on Facebook that one day money is pulled, that somehow that it is supposedly met, that it may be up for, jeopardized again, and that the next day it's solved and that we, the taxpayers, actually don't have to show up to City Hall to argue to solve this problem again. There's a famous line in the movie, Any Given Sunday, show me the money. But that's not just a movie quote. It's a demand for proof. Proof that promises match reality, that public resources are handled with integrity, that government is working in the open and not behind closed doors. And that's exactly what the people of this city are asking for right now. So like I've done with the Department of Justice reports that came out last year, I will make sure that I Oprah these records and reports to see where the hundreds of millions of dollars that we've received over these past many years have gone. And as you all know, I'm running for mayor, and I'll make sure that I put forth a Trenton transparency dashboard similar to what we see with our current Governor Sherrill, his New Jersey report card, similar to our Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott's City Hall status report card, and many others across the United States. Because that's common practice across our nation, but that's not what we're doing here in Trenton. It's time for a change. So I ask you once again, as we all are saying loud and clear, show us the money. Thank you.
Madam President, I did have another individual who after I received the clipboard, would like to go for public comment, but for my own personal clarification, she inquired if there was a parliamentary rule that states or prevents her from requesting to come up at this time. I want a clarification from the attorneys. At what point is it appropriate for us to deny public comment once this is received? And requests after that are subject to denial, is that correct? Would a request after that point be subject to denial, and is that legally appropriate?
Denial would be less for whatever reason the council president determines something that should be heard with.
Okay, so going forward, then I'll ask the council president for whether that's if it's her wish for additional public comment.
Mr. Garcia, denial is the rule, then let's proceed with that.
Subject to denial.
That's the rule, apparently, and it apparently is a ground rule set here within this chambers.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia. Let's proceed. At this time, before we go to civic comment, I would like somebody from the administration, either Chief of Staff Jim Beach or Mr. Cherry, to please come up and explain to us who owns the Eagle Tavern, and what this negotiation with the ARP funds between the county looks like. If you might please explain it, either one of you. Thank you to the public.
Good evening, Council President, Council, Jim Beach, Chief of Staff. As the mayor had explained earlier in the meeting, the funding, the $7 million that the city received from EDA was effectively divided between the Eagle Tavern, which is 100% owned by the city of Trenton, and the Roebling Wire Works, which is also 100% owned by the city of Trenton. One of the conditions of that grant to the city was basically to separate the management of those two projects. So the management of the Roebling Wire Works project is being run by the city, and the management of the Eagle Tavern project is being run by the county. However, none of this changes the ownership of those properties. Even though MCIA is running the project, it continues to be a property owned by the city of Trenton, and after the project is completed, will continue to be owned 100% by the city of Trenton. The reason that we are transferring the money to MCIA is because they're running the project. So they need to manage the funding, but again, the property remains the city of Trenton's property.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, moving forward, Mr. Garcia. Again, before civic comment, I'd like to take two moments of silence. First, I'd like to take a moment of silence to commemorate Reverend Jesse Jackson. Quick moment. Thank you. Secondly, I'd like to take a second moment of silence to commemorate Engine 1 Captain Howard Bennett of Camden, the Camden firefighters who passed recently while on duty in Camden while tending to a fire boat. May we please have another moment of silence? Thank you. And I want to commend Trenton Fire Department for attending the funeral of Captain Bennett in solitude. Thank you very much. Okay, we may proceed with civic comment, Mr. Garcia.
Madam President, you may proceed with any individual you wish.
Councilwoman Edwards.
Good evening, everyone. I don't have too much to say tonight other than thank you, Council President, for those moments of silence. I too had thought of Mr. Reverend Jesse Jackson all day today and the contributions that he made to not only the Black community, but America in general, and the civil rights movements that he was a part of. And I thank him for his service. I want to give a quick update. We have a Trenton Waterworks Ad Hoc Committee meeting next Tuesday, and hopefully we'll have some updates. I gave some updates at the last meeting on, the capital improvement plans and moving forward with some of those things and the funding for the lead line program and other things that we have been addressing all year long with funding the roof and funding other repairs that we had already approved. So hopefully the next meeting we'll have some more updates, and I'm hoping that we get to meet the new commissioner at this meeting. As far as the HED ad hoc committee meeting that we had last week, we do have we have those bi-weekly. We have begun vetting the properties, as you have heard tonight, with the ones that we had passed tonight. We had spoke to the administration about the lack of an attorney. We learned that an attorney was recently hired full-time with the administration, and she has begun working. But in the meantime, in that time frame, up until she was hired, they have been working with and still working with other law firms. I believe there are 3 attorneys working on closing the properties that we had already approved from council to sell to buyers. There is also a realtor that is working on these properties with the administration. And hopefully, with addressing this backlog, giving another month or so, we can begin accepting applications again for people to purchase city-owned properties. But in our conversations, we talked about the need to require inspections by the buyers. So in any private sale, depending on the type of mortgage loan you have, you would be required to do an inspection at your own expense when you're purchasing a property. And also, if you're using a renovation loan, you're required to hire your own contractor to determine what the estimated scope of work would cost. So we talked about implementing these type of processes into the process to make sure everyone that is purchasing these properties, as well as the city, has an understanding of how much it's going to cost and the affordability, and making sure that they have proof of funds for these projects, so that we're not selling properties and then have to rescind them like you saw earlier tonight. So we spoke about that, and I believe at the next week's meeting, we'll have a follow-up on that conversation as well, to make sure these inspections and these scope of work estimates are being included. Also, to make sure that the quotes that they are receiving is from a licensed, registered, and insured certified contractor company or business, to make sure that there's no under the table, unlicensed people handling these properties, so that we're not seeing them coming back. So those are all of my updates for tonight. Happy Black History Month, everyone, and have a good evening.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Feliciano.
Thank you, Council President. I'll be brief tonight. Thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight. Thank you, the council, for doing what it is we do. We heard different viewpoints tonight from different residents, and I thank everybody for what it is that you bring to the table. Certainly dialogue is good, and I like to hear where people are coming from, right? Whether we agree or disagree or whatever. One thing is, I do like to clear up any misconceptions or thoughts about the intention of why things are happening a certain way, which is why I asked for them to come up about the Eagle Tavern and so on and so forth. We're looking for a forward progression in the city of Trenton, and we're looking forward to getting things back to being restored. And sometimes partnership is a part of that. It's not giving anything up, it's partnering to make it better. Then the other part is, and to that point, right? I know we're not supposed to engage back and forth. We have lawyers here on staff that ensure that what we're doing is legal. So it's not like we're out here just doing it willy-nilly, just to be clear. When it comes to the part about, let me get my mind back on track. Trying to get my mind back. Yeah, so we do have elections coming up. And I do want to say this. I love the people that want to come out and talk about what's going on with the city or what they perceive at certain times. But I need people to talk all the time, not just when it's election time. I need people to come and listen to the meetings when it's not election time, but to see what it is we're doing all the time. When it comes to showing the money, we know where the money went. We know where the money is. We ask the questions, but if people were present and paying attention, then they would know that. And so when we talk about transparency, and we talk about leadership, and we talk about folks wanting to step in and take the helm of whatever position that it is that they want to take, they should be advocating within their respective positions all the time, and not when it's convenient to their agenda, And so I just wanted to put that out there. When it comes to council members that may be advocating for certain people, I am Councilwoman Crystal Feliciano, but I'm also West Ward 10 Democratic Committee woman as well. I am a citizen here in the U.S. I can vote and all that good stuff, and I can vote for who I want to and represent who I want to when I want to. What I do in these council chambers is one thing, and when I do in the street, it's something else. So I just want to put that out there as well. Thank you to the council for approving the remaining members of the Senior Citizen Advisory Council. I appreciate us getting that done, and now we can start having the meetings so that we can start addressing some of the issues that need to be handled. Thank you to the council for approving the Multicultural Heritage Board members so we can start meeting to get that ball started, rolling, to get that done. Councilwoman Gonzalez, we will make that amendment and then get everybody on board. And that is just simply not to cost the city any more money, but to help the city with the rich, vibrant resources that we already have within the respective cultures that exist here in the city. They can come together and talk about what we want to see collectively, and we're giving the people input into the processes that we're bringing forward, and we're honoring everybody that's here. So I'm excited for that to happen. Thank you to the council just for being who you all are. Thank you for pushing through the comments, the criticisms. Thank you for pushing through the hard decisions, right? Thank you for thinking and taking a step back and making the adjustments that have to be made when we have to abstain from things that maybe we didn't catch to go around. So when we talk about the foresight and the forethought of this council, we are doing the work. And then when it comes to the people on social media, I was looking at the clock. When it comes to the messaging on social media, all I can say is don't believe the hype. Come to the meetings. Come and be present and ask us questions. Stop listening to the noise and the people that want to agitate and start problems. Some people come to do the work. Some people's work is to be miserable and create chaos and nonsense. It's up to you to decide who you're going to listen to, but we're always right here. We're always ready, and we're always accessible. Thank you for coming out. One last thing, don't cut me off, please. I just ask those that believe in the Lord or a higher power, pray for me and my family. My grandmother has been put in hospice care, and so she's 103 years old. And so in between doing everything that I do, I just ask for those that do believe, just keep me and my family in prayer during this time as we weather the storm. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Frisbee.
Thank you, Madam President, and we do lift you up, Councilwoman Feliciano, and your family as you're going through these trying times. I do want to remind people that this February is Heart Healthy Month, so please make sure that you are tuning into your body. It's also Black History Month, and I found an interesting post that was put on Facebook that I found to be offensive, and I would remind people to be careful what you post, because when you put it out there, you can't take it back. And I'm going to let that rest, because most people already know what that is, what it is we're talking about. It was extremely offensive, and it was not a place for you to put Happy Black History Month in there. I want to congratulate all of those who are appointed this evening to the various boards. I want to also thank those who presented on this evening in JOHSP. Really good information. I will take a lot of it to heart. I also want to say to those who come to stir the pot, when you come in late and you leave early, you're going to miss a whole lot of information. We didn't pull anything. We didn't table anything. If you'd have stayed, you probably could have got some more information, but I'm just going to say it. Just because someone comes to the microphone doesn't mean that what they have to say is true. I've said that part. I want to just, again, I want to thank Reverend Jesse Jackson for his global and local and global outreach. There are a lot of people who have been impacted by him, thousands, many who have been, who owe their freedom to him because he advocated and got them out. To Ms. Robin Washington, I'm so glad we finally got your property on this evening. I'm looking forward to the second reading. I'm really excited about that. You have no clue. I want to thank our county clerk, Mercer County Clerk Diane Jarowski, and our city clerk, Mr. Brandon Garcia. They came out to my Westport Community Conversations last week, and I'm very appreciative. We got a lot of great feedback from that. A lot. People didn't want to go home. We had to put them out. Ms. Mary Horn, I want to thank you for your comments, because I am in agreement that people go around and they're putting out false narratives, and I agree. They should be investigated. That is a crime. When you're as we have a lot of folks come in with their hidden agendas, they put out false narratives, and they should be investigated. I 100% agree with you. I do want to thank our county exec for making his presence, his assistance known. Many of you, if you think back, we did not have a lot of support from our county. We are now getting an abundance of support. It is making a difference in what we don't have here, what we cannot otherwise do on our own. So to County Exec Dan Benson and his team, I want to thank him for his leadership. I hope that he stays in office for a decade to come, and I'm grateful for his leadership right now, and I'm even more grateful for that he and the mayor are working together to make Trenton stronger. With that, I think I am done. I want to thank everybody who came out. Even if I don't agree with your comments, I'm appreciative for everybody coming out and for just being here. You know, this is what the city is about. I'm grateful for our West Ward. We're having that three-way, the traffic lights that have been down for a while. We are now moving that. So now that is in the works of getting repaired. We know that's been a long time coming. And yes, I 100% agree we should keep, and I'm glad that we are keeping the money for our traffic guards in our budget. With that, I want to thank our directors. I thank our city clerk. Thank all of you who came out, my colleagues who we work so very well together. Have moments that we aren't together, but grateful for it still the same. Portion of the city's mission statement is recognizing that the people of Trenton have made us guardians of the public trust. We are committed to govern with integrity and fiscal responsibility, to seek excellence in the city's operations, and to serve all of the city's people with respect and compassion. I thank everyone for coming out and get home safely.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yes, thank you, Council President. I am going to be brief. First, also prayers to Jesse Jackson, Reverend Jesse Jackson and his family, and also to one of our own from Trenton, Mr. Black Jacks. We laid him to rest today, and he was definitely a cornerstone. He had one of our thriving business for a long time in the city of Trenton, and he was laid to rest today. So we just want to send prayers out to the family. To our county exec, Dan Benson, as stated by my colleagues, we are grateful for the partnership. We are grateful that you see the investment that is being made into the city and that you want to actually help us get this city up and running and progressing in the right direction. So we just want to say thank you to him and his staff. As far as Ms. Torres with the body cams for the inspectors, I think that's a great idea, and I know that some of the inspectors are actually in favor of it. So it's something that maybe we can look at and discuss, in the future. To our interim director Vasquez, I just want to thank you. If she's still here, or you're still there, because I know you did step into this role, and everything that we have asked from you from council, you have done it. You have made the changes. You have found some things, and you have tried to correct them. I know last meeting you did provide us with inspection sheets for some of the properties that were coming before us. So I just want to say thank you, because you are stepping into the role and have made some changes that are in a positive. And I just want to say thank you. I know it's not easy with us going back and forth, but you have definitely done some great things. To the presenters, thank you so much for that information. I'm excited to know that they're in talks with the superintendent to get them into our school system and also to present to our community. To the board members who stepped up to fill in those vacant seats, thank you so much for your time. And for all of those who came out to speak today, thank you for your comments. And I think that's it for me tonight. Have a good night.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Council Vice President Williams.
Thank you, Council President. Just also, I have some items, but I want to extend my thoughts and keep Reverend Jackson in our prayers and his family. He was the voice for civil rights for our generation, Gen X. And I saw a very interesting, I was seeing it today, Sesame Street episode, when he went to visit all the kids on Sesame Street and did his I am somebody speech. And every single kid, no matter what they looked like, they recited it back in call and response. It just reminded me of the power that someone can have in positivity and trying to bring people together and recognize equality amongst each other. So I also want to say thank you to Councilwoman Feliciano for speaking out, as you often do, in your positivity. And we certainly will keep your grandmother and your family in our prayers. I know grandmoms are very, very special. I did not have the blessing of one, but I know your grandmama is very special to you. Ms. Washington, thank you for placing your trust. I know it might have gotten very small sometimes, but thank you for sticking with it. And I'm glad to see that the properties came on tonight. That's very important. And you have inspired us to make sure we're doing better and that you held us to account. So thank you. I also want to thank the Office of Homeland Security and Preparedness for the presentation on online extremism tonight, and the Council President for allowing it on our docket. And this was really important. Important to them also that the Director of the department, Mr. Houck, was here. They don't have a commissioner like other state departments, so Director is cabinet level for Governor Sherrill. So it was great to have all of them here, and now we all know a lot more that we need to share with others. Tomorrow night's North Ward Citizens Police Advisory Council meeting is at Galilee Baptist Church, 440 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard at 5:30. Please come. Our special guest will be Department of Health and Human Services Director Dr. Diego Menicapelli and Department of Recreation, Natural Resources, and Culture Interim Director Paul Harris, and they'll speak to us about their department's goals and their services, as well as their initiatives for 2026. So it should be quite interesting. I also want to extend my thanks and my congratulations to my colleague, Councilwoman Gonzalez, for putting forth this resolution supporting the law enforcement mask bill in the legislature. This is something, it's not just in New Jersey, this is happening nationwide and municipally. And it's extremely important that we take a stand on that. And as Mr. Kaloji said, laws developing on that, and we'll see how that goes, but hopefully that bill will pass. Regarding crossing guards, I would love to see more crossing guards. My colleagues have also spoken about that, and it's really important that I think going into the next year, the remainder of this year, we advertise a lot more to try to get crossing guards. There's a lot of folks, particularly seniors, who would like to give back, would like to do some things, but we have to reach them. And every school, every neighborhood deserves crossing guards. And I think there's probably some recruits in this room right now that I think would be fabulous as crossing guards. So please consider it if you haven't already. And then finally, just want to say thank you to everyone for being here tonight. Because it's things like this meeting that you get to see the city grow, you get to see the city move forward, no matter the negativity that's online or we see other places. This council, this city is achieving a lot. This administration is achieving a lot. We have hiccups, but it's happening. So God bless. I hope you all come back for the next meeting, and please stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Vice President. Good evening, everybody. So before I get started really quickly, I just remembered a former teacher of mine from Trenton Central High School, Mr. Anthony Cirillo. He recently passed. I just want to acknowledge him. He was my history teacher, and he was also my debate team teacher. So I want to just acknowledge him and his passing. He was a great person, great individual. I don't always agree with all of my colleagues at the same time, but tonight I absolutely do. You all made some wonderful points, and I'm really, really proud to serve on this council with all of you. We have definitely handled adversity extremely well, and we continue to do so. Thank you, Councilwoman Gonzalez, for bringing up Blackjack's passing. I mean, I didn't know that. That was definitely the spot in the South Ward, and AKA Death Trap. But that was definitely the location. So sorry to hear that, but he definitely left the legacy behind. With regards to Miss Candia Torres, yes, I do agree with you. I think this idea has been floated about the body-worn cameras for the inspectors. So hopefully we can further that conversation, move that forward and get something going, budget allowing. And if we get more inspectors too, which is what we definitely need. as far as HUD, I am so hopeful for these property sales to go without a hitch. I really am. I'm glad my council colleagues are moving things forward. Like I said, I have to always vote my conscience. I want everybody to know that. Like I said, I'm very, very hopeful that these things will move forward, and I will feel comfortable as well. Other than that, speaking to partisanship, I don't know what partisanship has to do with the city and the county's relationship with one another or doing business. How we can align with business and partnerships. I really don't understand what one has to do with the other. We are the city of Trenton, and we should be able to work with the county regardless of partisanship. If Mr. Benson was Republican, what would that mean? Would that mean we still couldn't do business? I don't understand that. So I just wanted to point that out, and I'm thankful for his business. I'm thankful for him wanting to work with the city and try to revitalize different parts of the city, which is something that we absolutely needed. We have not had that, so really, really excited about that. There's just some things that people just come to council, they just want to complain. We're doing the work, we're moving the city forward. It is what it is. Other than that, the only other thing that I wanted to say, I think I said everything else. We cleared a lot of things up. South Ward Town Hall CPAC on the 19th, which is this Thursday at 824 Adeline Street at Holy Trinity Church from 5:30 to 7 p.m. Please come. We have directors there, and we also have a representative with the county who's coming to speak about what the Medicaid and Medicare benefits look like moving forward. If you have Medicaid without Medicare, what that's going to look like for your loved ones, their elders, and their health care. Are they going to lose it with this federal administration? So please come if you can to list it out. That's something that we all need to know moving forward. I think it's going to hit us all in 2027, unfortunately, with this current administration. Other than that, thank you all for hearing us out. It was a great meeting, everybody, and I'd like to move forward so that we can move to executive session.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call. Councilwoman Edwards.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feliciano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Frisbee.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Yes.
Vice President Williams. Council President Figueroa Kettenberg.
Yes.
Motion
Mr.
carried.
Garcia, can you let it
Do
be
we
known that we are
anticipate?
expecting
We do
this? Yes.
anticipate a vote following executive session.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.